I'm Gaurav at Gardentalkclub, and you are at the right place. More about an interesting topic. What's gambling masters? Three paths to life to break the game. Hi, if you're here new to this channel, I'm so glad you're here. My name is Gaurav, and I'm here to simplify interesting topics such as this one. So today's video is about the buzz of gambling masters' three paths to life, that is, to break the game. Living in the world is essentially a one-way game between the individual and the system. The so-called one-way game means that the individual is always in a relative weak position compared to what? The system. Therefore, individuals need to constantly identify and deal with the system, and they need to constantly adjust their own strategies in order to achieve possible adaptability to the system. Only on the basis of certain suitability can individuals find their place in the system. It is this one way game that forces individuals to make self corrections based on the system standards. This kind of self correction slowly enters into their habit construction process, in which an individual becomes a system person, which can also be called like development of an individual's way of life. You with me on this? When the compatibility between self correction and the system reaches a certain level, it means that the individual's role as a system person has gained certain degree of comfort. At the same time, the individual's habit has also been shaped. Moreover, this shaping is consistent with the preset of the system. You see all the time in electronic devices, presets. From this perspective, an individual's path in life actually comes mostly from the system's preset adaptability standards, which are there. Whichever path is taken, the outcome of the game will inevitably be very different. One, the first path, morality. The moral path is essentially a kind of emotional kidnapping, which uses binary opposition judgment model of good and bad, right, wrong, loyalty and adultery, good, evil, as the main means. Behind this judgment model, there seems to be a sharp classification in motivation. In other words, once an individual is identified by the system as not meeting his or her own moral needs, the individual is divided into a camp that's opposed to the system. Then this distinction kills the adaptability between the individual and the system with one stick. Therefore, there have always been some individuals in history who have been labeled as immoral, such as treacherous ministers, rebellious, some beauty, disloyal ministers, unfaithful, left wing, right wing, which are used to give a point negative moral characters in order to judge them. These individuals are torn from the fitness of the system. The underlying reason why this binary opposition moral judgment is often very effective is that the system needs to screen individuals with absolute moral suitability. Only such an individual can be the need to effectively shape a moral path for the system. At the ideological level, the simpler the path, the conducive to uniformity. It is precisely based on the demand of this simple path of the system that when individuals play games with the system, in order to obtain adaptability as soon as possible, they will be inevitably cater to this demand. Therefore, individuals either gradually become embellishments in the system or simply turn this need into a sharp knife, and when appropriate, they will swing the knife at certain people in order to gain some, say example, the travel expenses or the position in the system. Take the moral path. The technical content is low, but your face must be thick enough and your heart must be black enough. Second point. The second path, interests. Perhaps it can be said that there always have been two sets of orders in human history. One is the moral order, and the other is the interest order. The moral order is placed on the table, therefore, all or nothing criticism is there. Everyone is trying to seize the moral high ground. This commanding height is preset by the system and matches the entire order framework of the system to form a set of discipline paths. The individuals within the path form a certain adaptability to the whole system. The order of interest is often placed under the table. Only by stripping away the righteous moral retort Can we see it clearly? Basically, if the moral aspects of any system are removed, what will be exposed is usually a tense game of interest. These interest games essentially have nothing to do with right and wrong and have nothing to do with right or wrong. The apparent debate is about right and wrong is just to seize the discourse system and thereby set up the banner of yes and right for the interests behind it. This is called justifiable in a true language. Therefore, individuals who take the interest part must be well versed in the operating logic of these two set of orders, right? And understand that the role of moral path is just to pave the way for the fair and just path of interest. At the same time, it comes to the moral path, it's inevitable to adopt a law others kind of attitude. In other words, the banner you set up is for others to follow. Therefore, in the game of adaptability to the system, the path of benefit often hits the point directly and can be quickly effective. As someone said earlier, as long as there is demand, there is no one who can't handle it. The implication is that as long as a person has interests and needs, there is a weakness. Then to defeat him, you just need to find the interest, the point that impresses him the most, right? Therefore, taking the path of profit is nothing more than profit seeking and not asking about right and wrong. Third point. The third path is criticism. The so called criticism is to find the path of other, that is, to jump out of the system's preset path, examine the underlying logic of the system, and find way to break the situation. Therefore, this part is the intellectual level and requires a certain amount of questioning ability to provide another other perspective on the system's part. The degree of objectivation of this perspective is the degree of objectification of those who are about to participate in the game with the system. In fact, the degree of objectification of an individual is the degree of disenchantment regarding the path, the predisposition, or conversely, it can be said that civilized disciplines actually constantly allow individuals to enter a state of rationality and that they consider themselves to be. It is just that this endured objective rational state itself is the result of discipline. So, using the so called objective rational to question the system path is essentially an alternate game. It is so used to call correctness to prove that incorrectness of the system. The changes in history seem to be trapped in such proof. Therefore, criticism actually becomes evidence without evidence. However, as a dilemma game system, it is probably an improvement to be able to dismantle paths in this manner. You with me till this point, as now you have had a good idea to connect your thoughts align to which perspective. After all, this kind of other perspective provides a perspective that has nothing to do with interest and rights. Only this perspective can allow individuals to truly see the underlying logic of the system without getting lost in it or being dragged along. The nose goes away, becomes a vessel, and becomes a cannon fodder. Therefore, the path of criticism may be the only path that can benefit oneself and benefit the world at the same time. One said, a scholar cannot be without great perseverance. The responsibilities are long, and the road ahead is also long. In this world, games are everywhere, and there is no choice. As for the game, which path you take, you have a choice. Then you have to lay your own benchmark or be something that can be used as a benchmark. Only in this way can the road to gaming become wider and wider, and we can truly gain the peak experience of a personality that has a long way to go. Do let me know your thoughts and connect for possible benchmark objective in comments below. So these were a few basics ways to get you start here for sure. Please like, subscribe and channel. For updates to this topic plus host of other topics, be sure to share this video with your friends to have further discussion. Beyond this, if you are interested in more of these videos, do comment below and thank you for following this video till the very end.